家咧，我哋特登請上佢哋3位留低咧，就睇下各位傳媒朋友，我哋有派我哋新聞稿嘅。如果新聞稿有啲地方你哋係想補充嘅，請你哋提出問題啊，唔該。係有冇咪俾
？Hello, I'm Natalie from SCMP. My question is for Ellen. The first thing is that the latest move from the government is that, according to Dr. Lam, the government is actively considering closing all bars in the city, not just limiting the hours. So how do you respond to this? And the second question is, may we confirm the number of cases who had visited the蘭桂坊area, and how many restaurants are involved, and how do you make sure that the affected restaurants have been disinfected? Thank you.
First of all, I've seen the reports that the government is thinking about following the UK, following the United States, and potentially closing all the restaurants and bars throughout Hong Kong. There are 250,000 people that are employed in this industry. And the industry is not the IT industry. It's really quite localized, and the salaries are not so high. Most of the people have families, chefs, cooks, waiters, waitresses, many, many different kind of people. And so I think the government has to really consider very carefully if they do close the restaurants and the bars. In talking to Tommy and many of the other operators, they prefer not to if possible. But I do understand we have a situation with the coronavirus at the moment, and Hong Kong is trying to limit it. In the first January and February, there was not such a big problem. The government was able to close the borders and was able to reduce the effect in Hong Kong. Suddenly, in March, the end of March, for蘭桂坊, since March 18th, last Wednesday, there was 3 cases confirmed. March 20th, there was 2 cases confirmed, and March 21st, there was 4 cases confirmed. So altogether, 9 cases in restaurants and bars. Of course, on March 20th, there was Pure Fitness, which is a gym, not a restaurant, had 2 cases in蘭桂坊. But in essence, you have 9 cases in restaurants and bars out of 106 during those 3 days. It's quite remarkable to me that nothing happened in January, February, or early March. Suddenly, in last Wednesday, the only thing I can think of is that possibly people returning from overseas. We didn't have the quarantine at that time. Quarantine started on Thursday and now Friday. And so I believe we had 2 weeks of people returning from overseas, whether students, whether other people, without really having to go into quarantine. And I think this is probably why we've seen a spike in the numbers. I think now that people are going into quarantine from overseas, I think that maybe you get another week or 10 days of the first part that didn't go into quarantine, but I think the numbers will start to come down. So I don't want to panic. I think that it's important, if the government does decide to do it, then they're going to have to maybe follow what they did in the UK, or other places, whereby they'll have to help pay the salaries of all the staff for all the restaurants, which is not a small number, and also help with the rent, because many of the operators are SMEs, small, medium enterprises. They don't have a lot of money, and they work almost day to day, basically. It's not an industry that has a lot of money in the industry, and so we have to help all these people, because it's a big part of Hong Kong's population. And so if the government does decide to do it, I think they really have to study it very, very carefully to see if it works and not panic. I know some doctors and some university professors, Dr. Leung, have said, oh, we need to close, or we need to close certain hours. I really think we really have to study it carefully and not make a rash decision, a quick decision. But if they do, we'll have to, the government will have to subsidize the restaurants and the bars for a short period of time.
Let me add, when you look at the other countries in the world who is flaring up with this pandemic, they do a lot of things that are quite drastic, including closing restaurants. So some of our professors and colleagues will look at and say, oh, if they do it there, why can't we do it here? But they forgot one thing, that we are not transmitting viruses in our restaurants. In fact, this is the 13th technique we're using. This is the 13th. Other than alcohol, measuring your body temperature, that we would do a lot of disinfecting, everything that we have done. Now we're doing this extra one that I don't think the rest of the world are doing in their restaurants. Right. So probably they have to close it down. And people are not used to not going to restaurants. In fact, they are looking at us and probably envy that we could do all this in not so a short a time, but we're actually stepping up to do all this. I think to close down the restaurants, we would be a wrong move. You always have to, I believe, we always have to balance how much risk you reduce by closing restaurants or bars, as opposed to opening up, but you cause a lot of jobs. How much are you reducing? How many cases will you be reducing? If people still socialize out on the streets down there, with a 7-Eleven shop, you can buy beer and whatever drinks you can, stand on the street side and do very close social, not social distancing, but close social context. You got the same problem. So do you close out all the convenience stores too? Do you close out the streets where people can congregate? That would be a drastic measure. And I think balancing what we have done for the last 2 months, which I think we all appreciate that the government and all of us have done a good job. And so now I think we don't, whether we should close down bars or restaurants is another thing. And if the government decides to do so, then they should come up with the money to help out all these restaurateurs and bar owners.
Listen, just saying, by the same token, people going on the MTR is very crowded as well. You know, these cases happened in Lang Kwai Fong because people are standing in the street or whatever. It's not one place, it was in a number of restaurants and bars. So unless you really close down the whole city for every industry, have everybody, like the other countries did, have everybody stay home, not go to MTR, not because if you close down the restaurants, people will still go to MTR, they'll still go to other, you know, congregate in other places. And so that's not gonna help. It's no point just picking on the restaurant trade. It's only one part. And I think that we have to wear masks. That's very, very important. We have to have social distancing, 1.5 meters from one another, and don't pack the bars and restaurants just in this period. That's something that's very, very important.
係對唔住。OK， 中文你真係叫佢唔使講嘢啦。
OK。
我正話即係都想講咧，就係當政府考慮或者當我哋啲學者講話係好容易話見到外國啲餐廳都唔開咁咧就係咪我哋都應該唔開咧咁但係我就話外國啲佢哋冇準備，第二啲餐廳酒吧冇我哋過去飲食業由1月尾我哋已經開始啟動個10項全能，其實政府未開始，我哋都做咗，叫我哋啲員工，如果你喺離開香港喺深圳住嘅咧，就叫佢如果要翻工咧，就唔該你唔好翻深圳，你要翻深圳就唔好翻工啦咁。咁其實我哋飲食業有好多呢啲嘅已經係做到足， 今日咧，我哋就係其實已經做咗2個禮拜，煤氣公司幫我哋去做呢一個光觸媒，去做呢個礦煤。其他全世界嘅食肆，我唔相信有邊個城市做過呢樣嘢。所以當佢要閂咗佢哋道門，去唔俾人去食，我會睇到佢哋嘅諗法，可能都有佢哋嘅理由。但係香港咧，我覺得咧，當我哋做一樣嘢嘅時間咧，用一個咁嘅措施嘅時間咧，我相信真係一定要平衡，其實影響同埋真係可以減低呢啲嘅疫情嘅擴散。大家都知道，其實上個禮拜我哋都係完全明白，當我哋啲留學生外邊封關唔俾人去又唔俾人走嘅時間，佢哋會好多會選擇翻嚟。咁所以我係喺呢度我都繼續呼籲啲父母咧，真係你有子女翻嚟，我都有個年紀後生啲小朋友，好彩而家佢哋大晒，我唔需要擔心。我知道係好困難嘅，不過其實你哋係應該同佢哋，甚至你自己都應該喺屋企隔離，唔應該周圍去走，因為唔知道最弊呢個疫情就你唔知有冇病嘅啫。咁所以咧，如果真係政府正話我講就需要到係想話關食肆嘅話，我覺得唔需要嘅。同埋咧，如果係關酒吧嘅話，我就覺得政府係應該咧，好似外國啲國家咁咧，都會有做，就係人工佢去找數，鋪租佢又可以去找埋數。包括如果佢而家同我哋攞差餉啊啲，佢都應該唔應該去攞。咁咧就去幫啲飲食業，咁佢咧就有理據咧，就叫大家唔好開門。如果淨係要飲食業或者酒吧去做呢個負呢個責就要去自己孭晒飛，咁我覺得對佢哋係好唔公道，對我哋嗰20萬員工都唔公道。
Another question？
首先問翻張議員啦，就其實頭先講到就係閂就即係覺得唔需要啦。咁但係如果好似啲聲音咁講，如果淨係做閂晚市或者做外賣，咁會唔會係一個可行嘅選擇咧？另外for Alan, so under what circumstances should the authorities take mandatory regulation to close the restaurants? And as CHP mentioned that like people infected in Lan Kwai Fong, they don't know each other. It is impossible to trace their close contacts. So I know it may result a great loss of the restaurants and also the bars, but in the way of public health, would it be a considerable act, like in the short term? Thank you.
嗱，我好快脆答嗰個問題啦，即係我覺得閂係冇需要，因為要平衡。其實做少啲時間係咪會減低咗個疫情嘅擴散咧？我哋其實要好明，就係每做一個行為係減低咗幾多，同埋其實你要付出嘅代價係幾多？你問我去唔做夜市，淨係做午市，咁啲人夜晚黑去邊咧？係咪？你話買外賣咁，你去買啊，定係有公司去送啊？點樣去做咧？咁所以好多呢啲係咪真係減低得到個疫情？我唔覺得有需要。倒翻轉，我哋係做好自己嘅個人嘅行為。我就出去食嘢嘅時間，我哋揀啲其實短，即係冇人到嘅時間，6點鐘我去食，朝頭早我12點鐘我就已經去食，咁等人客到我已經走咗㗎啦。咁咪變咗咧，而家好多食肆冇生意，而咧你自己亦都可以調節你去呢啲幫襯呢啲食肆嘅地方，咁大家亦都可以有一個遠啲嘅距離坐埋喺度咯。
I think that in your two-part question, I think that in order to close down the restaurants, for it to work, I don't think just closing restaurants and bars is going to just help on its own, because as I said earlier, other countries, now it's stay at home. Even New York or California in the United States, everybody has to be off the street. Everybody has to stay at home. Now, Hong Kong, that's a very drastic move that they would make sure that everybody stays in and doesn't come out. We're not at that stage. New York is much worse than Hong Kong is. So I don't want to panic yet, but I do want to be careful and take this situation very, very seriously. And so far, I agree with all the things the government has done. They've kept Hong Kong very, very safe. I know the government's got a lot of criticism for other things, but in this case, they've done a very, 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 very good job. And so for the second part of the question, when you asked what was the second part you were asking? Oh, okay. You know, there is no proof. The people that were in Lan Kwai Fong, the government already said, they've said it, Dr. Chung said very clearly, there's no proof that they got infected in Lan Kwai Fong. They happened to come to Lan Kwai Fong, yes, to have a drink or meet their friends or have, but they also go to Soho, they also go to other areas, and they could have gotten infected on the MTR, they could have gotten infected somewhere else, they just happened to be in Lan Kwai Fong, and so of course, a lot of people do come to these areas, and so when you trace back people that have been sick, that have the virus, it seems, but it's very strange that only in 3 days you suddenly have these, you know, this what we call outbreak. And so I honestly feel that we have to, before we rush to judgment or panic, I think we have to look at, wait a little bit. As I said, I really think that it's because overseas people came back to Hong Kong without being quarantined. And maybe that's why we get this case. And when the next batch of people who are quarantined, hopefully the bracelets can be fixed and work. But once we get that over and done with, then maybe the numbers will start to go down. Your mic's not working.
因為時間關係咧，我哋可以接受多一條問題。We can take one last question from the audience. Is there any more questions? 張生、盛生同埋邵家輝生有冇補充先？有冇補充？ Do you have any supplemental information before we close the briefing?
Well, for anybody that's interested, we did some sheets of basically the infections from the 18th to the 21st, which we're happy to hand out. Anthea, the executive of the Lan Kwai Fong Association, has all sheets that can be handed out to any press that wants it, because we did an analysis ourselves, everything from the government, just to see what, you know, and I was surprised myself, because when we broke it all down, it's only 9 cases over 3 days, and which is very strange that suddenly, since Wednesday to Saturday, you have this. So I say wait and see before everybody panics. Even, you know, I saw some press, people saying, oh, I was in Lan Kwai Fong. The SCMP closed their office because one reporter supposedly met somebody from TVB, and they said, oh, they had a drink in Lan Kwai Fong, and it was reported. Then it was a few days later, it was reported, oh, sorry, we didn't meet in Lan Kwai Fong, we met in Causeway Bay. So a lot of the reporting was faulty. And so that's why I did this list, really to see what the numbers are. And those numbers are taken off of the government sheets. So anyways, you're welcome. Anthea's there, and she can give anybody who wants the sheets.
我想補充一句咧，就係其實即係喺個數據上邊咧，即係過去幾個月，大家你可以見到其實未曾計呢一波啲海外留學生翻嚟之前咧，其實香港其實個數字已經可以差唔多控制喺度，係講到俾大家聽，即係嗰個做法係有效嘅。但係今次而家嚟緊呢一波嘅話咧，其實將會有成數萬人其實翻嚟香港，而係喺嗰啲疫區嘅地方嘅。咁而家政府就用一個14日嘅quarantine 嘅方法咧，就係擺佢哋喺屋企啦。咁我覺得呢個做法係好嘅。但我想提多一點就係，其實同佢有親密接觸嘅屋企人，其實佢都係14日都同佢一齊瞓，可能喺隔離， 同一間房嘅。咁對於呢啲人嘅話，其實政府會唔會多做一步，例如即係叫佢哋喺 home office 一定要即係唔好再傳染翻其他公司等等呢啲情況，多做呢一步咧，去睇埋啲屋企人咧。咁我相信政府就要去諗一諗。咁如果我哋過到呢一關14日之後，或者可能21日、28日之後都冇問題嘅話咧，我相信香港就會會再平靜啦。所以呢一個係一個好 critical 嘅時間嚟嘅，好嘛？
不如個記者招待會結束之前咧，請3位咧就因為咧揸住嗰個 spray can 俾你影多一幅相先。Can you hold the spray can for 3 of you only before we close off the press briefing? Thank you. 好啦，如果係冇問題嘅咧，我哋好多謝張宇人議員、盛智文主席同埋邵家輝議員，咁多謝晒，亦都多謝你哋出席，多謝晒。